Hello, welcome back to my Flosstube. My name is Phoebe and I'm very happy that you're here today. So I'm going to be doing a regular update video today. I have a Flosstube update about every 2 weeks on my channel. And I'm going to be sharing with you my new starts, my works in progress, and a little bit of haul. I want to talk about a few new channels that I've found in the last couple weeks. I hope you've been having just the best fall. I was just telling my brother that it's like come back into like late summery kind of weather this week. Like we had like 78 yesterday, 76 today, and he's in Austin and he just asked Alexa what temperature it was there and she says it's going to be 89 today. So I know that some places people aren't feeling very fallish, but I'm feeling the change happening and I'm very excited about it. We've got our Halloween decorations out and yeah, just my favorite time of the year. I just feel like I just want to be smiling all the way through like the very end of September through Christmas. It's just the best ever. So anyway, if you're with me, let me know. So if you're anything like me, you like to watch Flosstube. I guess that makes sense because you're here. But I like to tell you about the new Flosstube channels that I've found since the last time we chatted. You guys know who a lot of my favorites are. I reference them a lot of the times in my videos, places where I've heard about new projects and things like that. But I like to feature some new to me channels, so I want to do that right at first before I forget. So I go to my history on my, in my viewing history for my YouTube account, and that helps me see, oh, this is funny. Last night I was listening to this video. It says 80s music, but it has been turned medieval. I'm just gonna play a second of it. Anyway, it was funny. Okay, so I started watching Mama Bear Stitchery. I know that I've heard people talking about her. It's just sometimes it happens where I don't go click right away and then I forget about it, but she is awesome. I loved everything that she was stitching on. She is Scottish and I think that they live in California. I think that the video I watched was from like back in August. It just showed up in my recommended videos. And the one that I watched is where she has her Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow finished on this gorgeous purple piece of fabric that I just am still gasping over. Like every time I look at it, I'm just dying. It's so gorgeous. You know, I love to stitch on blue. I need to stitch more on purple. I love it so much. And for the Halloween design, it's just perfection. So I really, really enjoyed her channel. I subscribed and she has a bunch of finishes in that video and everything she's stitching on is just gorgeous. So definitely go check her out. She is sweet and lovely and very talented. So loved that. I have a lot of karaoke in my history because the girls and I, they get a kick out of doing karaoke. There's a couple of good karaoke YouTube channels such as Karaoke TV, Sing King, but they just crack up singing their karaoke songs. Okay, next, another new to me channel was Hoop It Up with Jan, and she has her very first Flosstube introduction and whip parade, and she, wow, she stitches some amazing things. I really loved seeing her Teresa Kogut whips because sometimes when you look at, like the one I'm thinking of in particular is that angel face. It's a woman and I believe she has like angel wings. And when you look at the pattern online, it looks like, you know, it's maybe only like 5 or 6 colors or whatever. Like it's pretty neutral looking. But then when I saw Jan's work, she was showing it up close and it was just stunning. I mean, maybe it's pretty confetti heavy, but it was all of these colors interwoven together and it was just such a masterful design, and it just really made me appreciate Teresa's design work even more than I already do, her artistry, but I really loved it. So definitely go check out Hoop It Up with Jan, and I know that she's friends with Sarah, my friend Sarah, Sarah's Stitchy Spot, and so if you don't believe me, believe Sarah. She says that you definitely need to go watch Jan as well. So I will link these channels down below. Another new to me channel is nightmarebeforestitchmas, which was really, really cute. I'm actually looking at this and it doesn't look like I finished the episode, so that's going to be fun. I'm going to go finish that episode right after this. So she just has such beautiful stitching again. One of my favorite projects she's working on is she's doing long dog samplers. It's the one with the swans. I think it's called Game of Swans or something. Whoa, that thing is gorgeous. Every time anybody shows a long dog piece or a modern folk embroidery, it completely takes my breath away, and it just really makes me want to take out those pieces. And they're so much work, but oh my goodness, they just look so amazing. So there are some new channels for you. I hope you go check them out if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe and join in the community. Leave comments on people's channels, on their videos, and it's just so fun getting to know people through their craft and through what they're interested in through their artwork. So, all right, so there is our shout outs. Let's go ahead and get into my WIPs. I do have a lot this time because I stitched on a lot of different things. I have two different pieces that I did for my 2 threads a day, because we're going to finish up September, and then I'm going to show you what I did 2 threads a day on for October, thus far into October, and I'm going to continue it for all of October, and I'm loving it. So we're going to be looking at all my WIPs, and my new starts are thrown in there too. I think I told you last time I had 2 new starts planned, and so they're going to be in there too. So let's go ahead and take a look at everything I was stitching on. Okay, I'm going to start my WIPs with my 2 threads a day project for September, which was also my Back to School project. This is Abigail from Shakespeare's Peddler, and I'm stitching this with my friend Heidi, who is WIPs and Kits here on Flosstube. And this is how far I got. I love this motif so much. It's so beautiful. There, now you can see. So there's actually not that many color changes in this project, which makes it really nice. And there's not so many different colors is what I'm trying to say, but there are a lot of different colors in here, and it's just so beautiful. So like I mentioned in my last video, if you want to see somebody who has done a lot of progress on this project, definitely go check out Teresa's Stitching Lifestyle. So I stitched on this. This is stitched on a piece of 40 count that I over dyed to have this mint coloration, and I'm using the called for silks. So I stitched on this 2 strands a day, 2 threads a day, every day of September. So by the time it was October, even though I love this project and it was my Back to School project, I was ready to switch it up for sure. So this one's going to go away for a little while, and it hasn't had any stitching on it since the 30th of September. But I did get a lot done. This is a lot for me, in case you're wondering. So, yeah, this is going to go away for a little bit. We'll see when it gets pulled out by the luck of the draw. Oh, I didn't finish that motif. So anyway, this is 1 strand over 2, Abigail from Shakespeare's Peddler. The next WIP that I want to share is my October 2 threads a day project. So this, I decided to make this my next 2 threads a day, which is an idea that I heard about from Sarah's Stitchy Spot. Basically, you pick a project that you're going to touch for at least, you're going to put at least 2 threads in every single day. So it makes it so you're getting significant progress on that piece, but yet you're not monogamously stitching if you have an issue with staying content in your craft, like I do when I'm monogamously stitching. So we drew this project together last week as one of my random projects. This is one of my mania projects from 2022. And so when we drew this, I was like, okay, this is perfect for the month of October to stitch on every day, and I've been loving it so much. So this is Halloween Quaker from Lila's Studio, and it is stitched on 28 count cauldron. I think this is a picture, this plus Lugana, and it's just beautiful. It's purples and rusty oranges. And I started this on May 19th, 2022. It looks like it's come out 4 other times after that, and then every day in October so far. So Really all that's been done, I think, since the last time this came out is I finished this motif here. This is the top of the pattern, so that's finished. That's the motif finished. And then I started this one. So this is Blackbird by Gentle Arts. This is Black Coffee. No, these are both Classic Colorworks. So this is like I love this color. This is a very dark brown black. Same one for that. And then this is a dark gray. This is just DMC, so you can see the difference between those three colors. Yeah, I'm just really, really loving this. I'm stitching this 2 strands over 2. So it's eating up a lot of floss and not necessarily my fave way to stitch. However, I really, really love this project, and this fabric is growing on me a lot. So I will continue stitching on this every day in October, so you'll definitely see this in the next 2 videos, and hopefully I will just have a massive amount of progress. I'll definitely finish up this before I move on to the next motif, and yeah, just really, really enjoying it. Before I move on to any more of my cross stitch whips, I want to show you that I made 2 more project bags because I just had to show myself that I could improve from my initial attempts. So if you saw my last video, I made a project bag using the Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch video. Even though I mentioned in that video that I watched it a bunch of times, I watched it even more times since that video to try to like glean some more sewing technique information out of that video that's not like explicitly stated, and that helped a lot. It also helped a lot to like have done it once and realize the important words that she's saying that should tell me, oh yeah, this is a back piece, this is a front piece. So anyway, I made some Halloween bags this time. One thing that really helped me on this go around was this piece here that she has that's going to be connected to the zipper. I decided to make the lining piece and the showing piece the same fabric so that it wouldn't confuse me so much. If you care at all about my frustration with the first time I was doing this, if not, just fast forward this. But anyway, so this is using the same tutorial. Now this is the one I made first, and I didn't stitch the edge fully on this, so I'm still learning. Also, as you can see, these corners aren't fully turned out. But I had so much more success this time. I also have to say, Joanne was having a 70% sale on sewing machines, so I picked up another sewing machine so that I wasn't having the issue. Basically, like the bobbin underneath was getting stuck and it wasn't pulling through all the time, so I was having to do a lot of hand turning with the machine, and it was just annoying. I also had a zipper foot this time around. I want to mention thank you so much to those of you who left me comments about tips on how to do better the second time, and even some of you emailed me with those comments, and it was very, very helpful, and your encouragement. One of the most important things that a couple of you said was to know that even though the zipper was longer over here, I could just sew over it, and the sewing would in effect stop the zipper, and I didn't have to worry about it fitting exactly. It seems like that should just be like a given, right? But I didn't understand that, not really having that much sewing experience before. So as you can see, my second bag, I'm still having some zipper issues. Even though I have the zipper foot on, it doesn't really feel like it's wanting to go over it straightly, and so like it's wanting to just like pull and wiggle, and so I'm still having some issue with that, but I'm much happier with this. I left this to show you that I still have progress to be made, but it worked so much better this time. And as I've mentioned before, I'm really not that interested, like in comparison to what I prefer to be doing, stitching over sewing, definitely 100%. But the reason I'm spending so much time on this is because I want to prove to myself that I can do something, and I really feel that like it may not be done as beautifully as somebody who has a talent for sewing, but I can achieve it. And then, like, you know, if I really need to use my sewing machine for like a need, this helps give me more practice with that skill. So this is the third bag I made. As you can see, my zipper, it's still wiggly, and I still don't have the same like amount of the zipper that's being covered by this project bag, but this one went even better. So these are just fabrics that I got at Joann's. Oh, I didn't notice this before, but the zipper isn't completely sewed into there. So yeah, I was definitely having a problem making that zipper, making the zipper foot go over the zipper still. And I was like, isn't that the point of the zipper foot? Is that it makes it so you can go over the zipper and you're not having a problem. But anyway, yeah, so I think, you know, as a parent, I'm always telling my kids, don't expect to be great at something the first time you try it. And I'm like, just keep practicing, you'll get better. So really, this was just putting into practice that encouragement, but for myself. So I still have progress to be made. I do have more fabric. Like I said, I don't love sewing as much as I love stitching, but I do have some more fabric, so I could definitely practice on some more bags. But I just wanted to update you and say thank you. So sweet. Those of you who took the time to help me, and it made me feel really, really good to get better the second and third time. So thank you so much. I also finished this scarf that I was making for my friend for her birthday, the one that I showed you guys in either the last video or the one before this one. This is my daughter Honor modeling it for us so we can see the finished product. And this is already sent, and the birthday already happened, and it turned out great. I will try to find the place where I got the design and link it below. So I have a lot of WIPs, so let's go ahead and get into it. This is the other project that we drew randomly in my last video for me to stitch on in the last 2 weeks. This is Deck the Coupe from Stacy Nash Primitive, Stacy Nash Designs. Wow, that's hard for me to say, Stacy Nash. This is using the called for flosses, which look like this, and it's stitched on a piece of 40 count. It might be 36 count. Yes, it's 36 count, and it is a soft kind of rosy mauve color for the base here, and this design is just so adorable. And yeah, this is how much I got done. I think I just stitched on this one day, so I'll be putting on the screen the images of where I was at previously so you can see. It's not a time lapse, but you know, the comparison of progress. Weeks Oscars in this project, and I just love that floss so much. It's actually used quite a lot. It's all the vining, and a majority of the greenery is Oscar. So just such a fun little project. I'm not even over to the focal pieces of the design yet, but I felt very pleased with how much I got done. My next WIP is the project that I chose for the hashtag Golden Kit Sal, started by Cam the Stitcher. This is Hannah Sanderson from Dutch Treat Designs. So I'll put up here what the image is supposed to look like if you stitch it more similar to the called for. This is a tealy blue, like a dusted out tealy blue base. I love stitching on blue fabric. Let me pull in. So I make a point to whenever possible. Okay, so this is my start. I think I stitched on this for 1 or 2 days. And this, I had to do some frogging here because a heads up for this design, the pattern has a plus sign in the symbols, and then it has a thick plus sign in the symbols. So if you're not careful, this yellow, you can interpret it to be, well, in my flosses, I thought it was this shade. So I was like, oh, more bright pink. But then when I got to this, I was like, there's no way that this designer would have taken it from a dark to a lighter floss to like back to a darker floss. It's just not how it would work when they want it to look like light reflecting off of this motif. So I was like, okay, there's no way that's right. So I went back through and I had to pick out all the yellow and put it back in. So heads up on that. This is my own conversion of flosses, so it's probably going to look pretty different from the original call for design flosses. There are actually two colorways when you purchase this pattern, and one is if you're stitching this on like a darker fabric, and one is if you're stitching it on the cream. I actually picked, even though this is a darker fabric, I picked the flosses for the cream, and then I converted it based off of those. So there's MPIs in here, there's Weeks Dye Works, there's some floss that I personally dyed, more Weeks, me, there's some Be Stitch Me. Can't wait till I get into this Otter Creek. So I showed you guys all of these last time, I think, but there's just a whole mishmash of flosses because I just love that so much and it makes it very personal to me. So that's what's going on there. So it's, I mean, there's just so many flosses for this project and such a beautiful array of colors. So really, really love that. This has a lot of words in the pattern, but I find that the phrase is meaningful and beautiful, so I decided that I do want to stitch all the words, and I don't really mind stitching words. So basically I started in the top right hand corner, and I think that's about it for this one. This is one strand of floss over 2 linen threads, and I think I said 40 count, and I really, really love this project. So I just plopped that one right into the middle of my WIPS, but it was actually a new start. This one is a new start too, and I'm obsessed with this one. Okay, so this is Blackberry House from Plum Street, and here's the called for flosses. They are so beautiful. This is the project that I started on my daughter Joy's birthday, and this is the one that she picked for me to start out of her out of all my things that I already had kitted up. These are all the called for flosses because this was kitted up before I started fiddling with that. But this is Current from Gentle Arts, and it's one of my new favorite reds. I love it so much. I love it that there's like a bright rosy red in amongst this dark plummy red, and that's what all of the words are going to be in. So I actually put 2015 in there, which is the date that's on the pattern, but that happens to be the year my daughter was born. So that worked out perfectly. This is just one day of stitching because I loved stitching on this so much. So this is stitched on a piece of Fabric Flare dried petal, 40 count dried petal from Fabric Flare. So I thought it would go really nicely with the design. Let me just, I know I had it up on the screen a second ago, but there's a lot to go. It's a very tall pattern, and I'm not anywhere close to any of this stuff, but I'm just having so much fun down here. I decided to start at the bottom, which I almost never do, but that's because I just thought that there was going to be too much jumping around in the counting up here. I didn't want to mess with that, so I just started where it was easier. So that is where I am at, and I just love the gradient of colors that she's using in all of these bits here, and it's just so nice. So really loving this project. Like I said, I've had it kitted up forever, so I was very happy to finally have a reason to start it. So this is 40 count, so whenever you hear me say something's 40 count, that means I'm using 1 strand of thread over 2 linen threads. And that's my progress for Plum Street Blackberry House. Hello, you have seen this one recently. I decided to get it back out. This is FXy Thomas from Teresa Kogut. I love this design. I love Teresa Kogut. I am a member of her Patreon, and I love this fabric. This is something that I hand dyed myself. It's just very rich in color in these greens and marigolds, but it makes a great backdrop for Thomas. So I finally got some more of Thomas in so you can actually see what he's gonna look like. So I finished up this wing pretty much, I feel like. And then I finished up this heart flower and then worked on Thomas. So I think I maybe stitched on this for a couple more days. And I am using the called for DMCs and a few overdyes. The DMCs, I mean, actually everything in here is so, so beautiful. These really rich, this orange, this sweet potato, so beautiful. And then carrot is a really nice accent. This one is so nice. This tarragon, oh, so nice. And you're using it a ton, so. And then these really great DMCs here as well. So anyway, this is stitched on 40 count, so I'm using one strand, and I believe I just bought the PDF directly from her. And yeah, I love it. I think this is like the only Thanksgiving piece that I have, so I was thinking it might be really nice if I could get this done before Thanksgiving. I have fall pieces, but this one's like definitely Thanksgiving. So anyway, that is my progress on Folksy Thomas. Here is my next WIP. This is actually what I was stitching on yesterday, because yesterday was the 7th. I'm filming this on the 8th. And this is my birthday start from 2023. This is Janette Douglas Vintage Stitches. I love Janette Douglas so much, and her vintage series is just really, really nice. As you know, last time I stitched bee stitches. I said vintage series, but I meant her stitches series. Last time I stitched bee stitches. This time I'm stitching vintage stitches. And her booklets have like, it's kind of like a chatelaine in the way that it's organized the steps she wants you to do it. So she wanted me to come in here and do all of this over one grape, and then she said, and then go stitch in the vintage stitches. But then she's like, you might want to do this border first, and then put these 2 flowers in first, and then you'll have spacing for the vintage stitches. So I'm just following all of her suggestions about what to do. So this time I finished up this grape and this grape cluster, and I'm doing the back stitching as I'm going per suggestion. I put in the words vintage stitches. I put in these, what does she call them? They're modified Algerian eyelets, because you don't come all the way into the middle one and go out from the same spot the whole time. This is actually 2 different colors of MPI. I'm using all the called for flosses, with the exception of the ones that I can't find. So for example, this is a Gloriana floss, and I'm supposed to have another coloration of it, like either light or dark of this, and I can't find it. So I just did this stitching in the same color as this, even though they're called for a different thing. Same thing goes for this, which is actually stitched in some yarn type Gloriana. It's called Lorikeet, and it's wool. And I can't find the one that goes for this. It's actually supposed to be a little darker. So I stitched it in the other one that has a variation that's called for in here that's kind of lighter pastelier. So it's not going to look exactly like the design, but in fact, let me just pop it right up here. I find that a lot of the things aren't looking exactly like the design, but like, let me pull this over. Similar, right? Similar. Like for example, I'm using the exact MPIs that she calls for. These look significantly different than that. But, and these, look at how light that looks compared to that. So, you know, it is what it is. I still really, really like it. So much purple and gold in this project, and those are my faves. Well, and blue. So I'm actually stitching this project on a piece of Lugana, I think it's 28 count, that I overdyed, and I was stitching tisket to tasket on it 1/1, and I just was not enjoying it. It was way too small for me to enjoy the subtle gradation that she has between her flosses. So as you know, I've restarted that, but I'm stitching this on that piece because I felt that it would work really nicely for this piece. So because it's on 28 count, I am doing 2/2 on some of it. This is just one strand, of course. This is one strand, this is one strand. All the back stitching is one strand. But, oh, this is one strand too. But yeah, so I'm doing 2 when it's calling for a full cross stitch. And I'm just really enjoying it. It's gonna fill up quite a bit of this piece of fabric, which is not that huge. So I'm very excited about that. What else do you need to know about this? You're going to see this every month till it's done, because this is my birthday stitch. And last year I got my birthday stitch done in time. Let me just pull in here. There you can see all the little over 1 on the grape. That's why I picked this one, the 28 count, because I thought that would make this over one easier for me. And in fact, I mean, I can't even imagine if I'd chosen like a 36 or 40 count. It wouldn't have happened. Now you can actually see the wool of this as well. So this is kind of a pain in the butt to stitch with. And it doesn't explicitly say in the pattern, but it's a 6-stranded wool, but like the big pieces. And so I actually separated 2 individual little strands from the 6-stranded wool and used the 2 for this. I could not have gotten that whole big, like full piece of wool through these little holes. In fact, even just the 2 strands were difficult. So anyway, there's that. So for my 25th stitching, which is usually when I stitch on Christmas themed projects, I had a hard time deciding what I wanted to stitch on because I do have some beautiful Christmas projects, but I actually landed on this. So this is a series from Hello from Liz Matthews. This is the first day of Christmas, and this is going to be the second day of Christmas. Now, I don't know if I'm stitching it exactly as suggested in the, she has a suggestion in her Facebook group, and I think I screenshotted it where it shows how she thinks you should sew it all together. And I feel like her recommendation is to just do like one solid top border across. And anyway, basically it's working for here to put these together, like right next to each other. But then when I get down to the next row of 3, so it's going to go 1, 2, 3, and it's going to be 4 long, the patterns won't be able to go right next to each other. Like I can't have these pokies sticking down into the next pattern. I mean, anyway, so I'm going to fiddle it with it. I think my thought is just to put the next border just right up against it. But because the other thing that I could do, which is probably what's intended, is to rip all of this out and start the next project straight down from this line. Do you guys think I should do that? Should I rip it out? I could. That would be really annoying. And it might leave some like discoloration up here by the top of the design. So that would be day 4. What do you guys think? That would make it look how it's supposed to look. That would also mean that on day 4, 5, and 6, you don't get any of the top and bottom borders. You would just stitch the straight black line. Anyway, please sound in what you think I should do. So for day 2, I just stitched on this for 1 day, and all I did was the top border, which looks like little money signs to me. So I took it all the way across. No, that can't be the width of it. Yeah, I'm missing 3 more. There's 16 here, and I only have 13 of here so far, so it's gonna go like over here. Anyway, so that's what I did so far for my second day of Christmas by Hello from Liz Matthews, and I'm loving it. I'm really excited for this to go all together as one big piece. So like I said, I do get questions about this, I think every time I talk about it, but it's in her Facebook group, the Hello from Liz Matthews. I believe there's a file in the file section that has how she suggests to put these together. Clearly, I didn't read that before doing the bottom border, but that's okay, because I don't mind if mine looks different, or I'm fudging it, or I'm making up a new thing to make it work, because as Tim Gunn says, make it work, right? Anyway, this is a piece of 40 count that I over dyed. It's kind of peachy, ruddy, and I think it's going to go nicely with all of the golds in the piece. And so since it's 40 count, I'm doing 1 strand over 2. And all the called for DMC. My next WIP is Blackbird Designs Away We Ride. Let me just straighten that out a little bit. And you can probably tell what I worked on this time is the house. And that was really fun. So I think that I finished up the top of this little flower here, and then I brought this over because this is where the color changes between those 2 colors that look almost exactly alike. If you look at these 2 birds, I don't know if anybody else's skeins of these colors look so similar. But this bird has two different colors. That wing is a different color than his body. So anyway, that's just how my flosses are. I'm using the called for, and the colors in question are Garden Gate from Gentle Arts and Onyx. So as you can see, like you can tell them apart like this. I mean, I can barely tell them apart like this, barely. So if I were doing it again, I might choose a darker black for that base of that bird, but you know, c'est la vie. So yeah, that's what I did. I did a little bit more of the border, then I came over in here, and look at how different the two pieces of this one here. This is called Wood Smoke by Gentle Arts, and I love it because there's like, it's very golden at parts and then very khaki on other parts. It's so pretty, but it looks like I've used two different kinds of floss between that. Here, let me zoom in. Between what is in here in the top of the house and then like this little part right there. Those are two different pulls of the thread, but they are the same floss. So beautiful. Inside the windows is all brandy, and I think it's Garden Gate for all of the black in here. So anyway, had a lot of fun with that. You might be able to tell that the windows are not exactly how they're supposed to be if you're currently working on this pattern. There's two windows that are spaced not correctly, but I decided not to pull it out because, like I mentioned before, I don't mind if mine looks a little bit different as long as it wasn't integrally going to mess up anything else. I decided to leave it. So that is what I did on this. I think I just worked on it for one day, maybe 1.5 days or something like that. This is stitched on a piece of 36 count that I over dyed with this really pretty like terracotta reds and oranges, or orange browns. I really like it. So anyway, that's my Away We Ride, and actually I'm going to be cutting it close on this thing. Look at this. Right there. So basically it looks like I took a fat quarter and I cut it in half so that I could play with dyeing two different colorways on the same piece of fabric. And so I'm going to be cutting it close, but that's okay. So loving this project. You will probably see it again next week, or next video, I bet. Speaking of Blackbird, my next WIP is also Blackbird, and look, you guys, we're getting so close to a finish on this one. So this comes out every 4th of the month, so you figure it should be getting close to a finish. So we've rounded the bottom on the border, so I know where the edges of this design are going to be. This is going to be smaller because I'm doing it on 40 count. This is just a piece of 40 count that I over dyed myself with reddish browns and teals. Actually, it's kind of a little bit of a clashing color combo there, but that's okay. I do not mind. It's just going to be a little funky. So I think I was inspired by somebody's finished design that I saw on Instagram or Pinterest or something. So this is also my own conversion of flosses. I just pulled 4 that I already had in stash once upon a time when I started this project. And so I'm doing 1 strand over 2. And this time I believe that I finished up this bird. It's either this bird or this bird needed some more to be done to it. I finished up these guys. This is new, this is new, this is new, I believe. Actually, this might not be completely new, but they got finished. It's totally finished, right? And so I started into the lettering down here. This would be a good project for me to just like load up 4 needles and leave them threaded, but as yet I haven't got into the practice of that, but it would be good because you constantly have to change, especially on this border here. So although I did finally just notice this time that the border has red berries along the outside for all of it except for 1 on each side. 1, 1, 1. Anyway, not that that will probably help you much, but oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. This is not the bottom of the border. This is just where these words come in. So this is going to be the bottom of the motifs. Anyway, I know, I'm a crazy person. So I am getting very close to a finish. I probably won't have it done the next 4th of the month, but maybe the next one, we shall see. And I could just basically move on to the next project in that book. This comes from the Sweet Land of Liberty book. And so maybe I will. Maybe I'll just move on to the next project in the book for my next 4th of July stitching. But I really love this project, and it really is as fun and striking to stitch on as it looks like it's going to be. So I encourage you to start it if you haven't. Okay, this is my last WIP. For those of you who like a lot of WIPs, I hope you've been enjoying that. I also like a lot of WIPs, but for those of you who it drives you crazy that I stitch on so many different things, thank you for putting up with me and joining me for the video anyway. So basically, I just find that my stitching is more enjoyable when I'm switching from design to design. It just brings me, it's just more interest, and I just love it. I love working on different things because since nothing has a due date, it's not stressful, you know, that I'm like, oh no, I have to get back to this other thing. So this is Spooky Countdown from the Primitive Hare. I love this one. I screenshotted Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Stitching. I screenshotted her finish. She put it on this beautiful wood board, and I really love that. It will be a while before this is done, but I want to finish it the same way. In fact, if you look at the picture here, it's also finished like that. So, you know, it does say RIP at the top, which I probably won't do that. But anyway, she did a similar finish to that, and I really like it. So this is stitched with not the called for threads, but probably similar. And I'm doing this 1 thread over 2 on this piece that I dyed to look similar to the piece of fabric that is called for. And I mean, it's going to be considerably smaller because I think hers is on 30 count and this is a 40 count. So as you can see, Boo is finished up with the little spider, so cute, and I started over here on the RIP. And I think this is supposed to be done in back stitching the border. It's not a cross stitch, so I'm probably going to wait and do that like maybe all at the end so that it doesn't get messed up as I'm going along. I brought the fencing over some more. I filled in more of the black. That's pretty much what I did on here. I think I stitched on it for 1 day. So loving this design. I love Primitive Hare, and yeah, just really enjoying it. All right, so that was all my stitchy fun that I had. So much fun. There's not enough hours in the day to get all the things done that I want to get done, plus just enjoy my stitchy time. I haven't mentioned in a little while what I've been reading lately. I've been doing a reread of, first we did a reread of the Red Rising series. If you haven't read it yet, I really recommend it. It's great, and it's clean, and it's space fantasy basically, and really good. So I had a friend reread that series with me, and I think that there's still there's 1 or 2 books coming to finish out that series from Pierce Brown. So then after that, I asked my friend to do a reread of the Mistborn trilogy with me. There's actually a trilogy, and then there's like a continuation. So this is a series by Brandon Sanderson. And so then there's 3 books that come first, and then there's 4 more books that come after the space of like 300 years or something. And so that's fantasy, also very clean. And then I just started actually this morning. I'm reading Fourth Wing. Everybody and their mom is talking about it. If you've already read it, don't tell me any spoilers below, but let me know if you loved it or not. So that's what I've been reading. Oh yeah, I also just finished the most recent from Louise Penny. At least I haven't looked it up in maybe like a year. This is The Madness of Crowds, and honestly, I got this when it first came out, and then I didn't read past like the 3rd chapter because it was too recent to the pandemic, and this is about the aftermath of the pandemic, and it was like too, not triggering, but you know what I mean? It was just too recent. But now I picked it back up this last week, and I loved it, so yay. If I ever pick up a video game, the one I'm still really loving is Disney Dreamlight Valley because it's super casual gameplay and I don't have to fight. My kids love me to play Roblox with them, But like everything on Roblox, you have to be able to jump and stuff. And I can't, I'm really bad. My kids love to tease me that I can't jump to save my life. So anyway, those are the extra things that I've been doing besides stitching. Well, there's a bunch of stuff, but that's what I've been really enjoying lately. So, okay, now let's get into haul. I have a little bit of haul. It's mostly floss, so let's go ahead and take a look. So I have a tiny bit of haul. I picked up these while I was grabbing a strand of floss that I needed, I think. So this is Summer House Stitchworks, and I feel like for the past 4 or 5 years, it's maybe more, she releases 12 patterns that go in a Fragments of Time series, and this year's theme is Berlin woolwork, and I just thought it was really, really beautiful. I also especially love the year that has all the sea themed projects. But when you think about it, if you buy them all separately, this price point from this store, I feel like, I'm not actually sure which store I got this from, but she has them at $6.50, and I think 1, 2, 3 Stitch, it's like $5.95 or something. But if you think about buying 12 at that price, that's pretty, like, that's very, very expensive for a pattern of this size, the size that it's going to shape up to be. Now, granted, there's a lot of design going into each of these, but that makes it pretty expensive compared to like a sampler, which would be the same size as this. So that's the only thing that keeps me from picking these all up, but I really want to for this year, I think. I think it's going to be so sweet. So anyway, that was one thing that I purchased, and I only got one other chart, and it's this one. I picked it up from Shakespeare's Peddler. This is Francis Poole. I saw this on Katie So Tattered's, sorry about the glare, let me fix it, Flosstube, and it looks so much more vibrant and beautiful in person that I just had to snag it up. So, yeah. This is a Brenda Gervais reproduction sampler with dye needle and thread. And it just looks so beautiful as Katie's stitching on it. So my other pieces of haul are floss. So I'm in 2 clubs right now. One is the Silk Club from Be Stitch Me, and this month we have purples, pinks, and like coral. So really pretty. And then the MPI Club from Fat Quarter Shop. This month we had these berry shades, but we have like this really yummy brown mute going on to them. So there's that. And then the other thing I got is a whole bunch of Threadworks. I think I got these a while ago actually, and they finally came, but I mentioned in a previous video that I love Threadworks and how putting a highly variegated threadwork into a design, look at this. This is such a cool floss. She has this almost neon green, it's like slime green with this beautiful deep olives and browns. And so putting one of these kinds into your piece, like I'm doing in Jack's Bash, it just brings out just a really fun variety to your stitching and just liveliness to the piece. This is the one that I'm using in, I think I am using this one in Jack's Bash as well. Oh yeah, this is going to be like all the bordering and stuff, so I need a lot of this, so I needed to get another one of these. But yeah, I went ham on some Threadworks because I feel like everything cross stitch was having a birthday sale or something, and so these were all half off. So love it. I'm so excited about that Threadworks. I just want to like re-kit up everything and make sure that I have at least one Threadworks in every project. I'm obsessed. It's true, I really am. So I don't necessarily have any new plans, like definitely planned. I'm just gonna see how I feel in the next 2 weeks and feel if I really need to start something. I really want to start Nevermore by Lila's Studio, but I'm kind of sitting here like I have a lot of Halloween stitching that I want to touch right now. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I do have a few projects that do need to be stitched on specific dates, and then we're going to pick projects from my random picky wheels. My random picky wheels! So let's go ahead and take a look at those random picky wheels. Alright, so once we've done WIPS and haul, it's time to talk about plans. So we always pick a random project from my 2023 Mania. But first, let me just look at my calendar. So before the next video, you're going to see my anniversary stitching, which is, I'm going to put them on the screen here. This is Pretty Little Hawaii from Satsuma. And then on the 13th, I have some dark stitching I'm going to do. And then besides that, I don't have any specific day stitching till the next time we see each other, which will be on the 23rd of October. So I'm going to pick 2 random projects from here. And then you're probably going to see a lot of my Halloween projects and autumn projects come back out before the next video as well. So hopefully you're not tired of them. But to make sure we're not just doing all Halloween stitching, I like to pick some random projects. So also, my mom's coming into town for the next week. She's coming in for a week and a half. She's coming on this next Friday. So I might have a little less stitching than I usually do. We'll just have to wait and see. So let me get my random generator and change this to a 23. Okay. So this app is just called Pretty Random. And it's going to help me pick one of these Mania projects. So 12 is Lavender Farm. Oh, that will be fun. Very purpley. I'm going to put that up on the screen. It's by Corey Abatakori. And I never get like too excited about stitching this because I'm stitching it on a really large count. And I'm using 2 strands, and so it's big crosses. So, but I do still like the project. It's purple and it's beautiful, and I really love Corey Batakori. So it's just that had I chose the project over again, I would stitch it on a small account. But I started this project a long time ago. This is a carryover from the 2022 Mania. So hopefully I can get a lot done on this. So there's one of my random projects, and then my next one on my Tiny Decisions wheel. Alright, so this is just my Mania. This is all of my WIPs. Sorry about that glare. So let's go ahead and choose another project from that. OMG. Well, I guess that's coming back out. And I said that I wanted to pick something that wasn't Halloween, but that's okay. It was meant to be. The universe wanted me to stitch on that some more. So those are the 2 random projects that were drawn. And that's my plans. Alright friends, well that pretty much wraps up this Flosstube. I was so happy to share with you the things that I've been enjoying and loving as far as stitching, reading, things like that. My baby turned 8 years old since my last Flosstube. My youngest is now 8 and my oldest is 19. And my parents are coming for a visit this weekend, so I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, but we'll see how much stitching I get done because my mom's actually going to stay for a full week. But I'm really excited because I haven't seen them in a whole year. And I think that's everything. So I just hope that you stay safe and warm and you find some peace this week, and maybe your stitching will help you get there. Thank you for joining me for this video. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Let me know down in the comments below what you're stitching on or a channel that you've been loving. Your favorite thing about fall. Did you guys know that Wendy's has pumpkin spice Frosties now? Which you can pretty easily make at home with a pumpkin pie filling jar, you know. My husband, when he was a teen in early 20s, worked at Dairy Queen, and when we saw the Frosties, he was like, you know, we can just make that, like, literally this is how we made it at Dairy Queen. So we got the big old Libby's pumpkin pie filling thing, got the vanilla ice cream, and then you get a pumpkin pie spice container. You just dump that in there. So we did that this weekend. The girls are excited to paint pumpkins. It's just the best time. So, all right, I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you back in 2 weeks. Bye.